Sometimes going for the head just isn't enough. What's up, MetaNerdz? Today we're going to be taking a look at the IG-100 Magnaguard, covering everything from who was responsible for constructing these Jedi killers, their connection to one famously congested Kaleesh, and even what happened to these true technological terrors after the Clone Wars. The IG-100 Magnaguard, or simply referred to as the Magnaguards, were part of the infamous IG series of droids built by Hollow-On Mechanicals. Hollow-On also proudly presented such fearsome creations as the IG-86 Sentinel droid, commonly used by gangsters during the Clone Wars, the IGRM bodyguard and enforcer seen up through the Imperial era, and most famously, the IG series assassin droids. They were also the manufacturer of the Magnaguard's most memorable weapon, the Electro Staff, which we'll break down in just a bit. Standing at 1.95 meters tall, or just under 6 foot 5 inches, the Magnaguard was almost 2.5 Ewoks in stature. And weighing in at 123 kilograms, or roughly 271 pounds, you can be certain that your elite force of bodyguards won't just be kicked down by any old clone trooper. If it showed up here on Earth, it would be just an inch shorter than Michael Jordan, and be twice the weight of Asimo, and is slightly more proficient at killing organics than Sophia. These droids had masculine programming and could speak basic, though they rarely made any noise at all, and usually came equipped with 2 red photoreceptor eyes, as well as a backup system placed in their chests. The only time you see them without this crimson stare was in the Clone Wars TV show, when Count Dooku was seen protected by Magnaguards with these eerie yellow eyes. Though not much has been said in canon or legends about this variant, but these are said to be even more deadly than their stock model. But no matter the variant, all Magnaguards are protected by strong duranium plates, the same material used in the armor of General Grevious, making your Magnaguards far more durable than your typical B1. And they're also known to be sporting capes. These capes often bore similar markings to the ones on Grievous's mask, called the Marks of Mumu, which is a beast from the General's homeworld of Kali. Kinda like how the Mandalorians are always repping the Mythosaur. And since we keep talking about him, let's discuss the history between General Grevious and his ferocious Magnaguards. Very little information has been given to us in the current canon, aside from these droids being used as elite bodyguards by the Separatists. But this topic was expanded upon far more in Legends. When Grievous became the coughing cyborg we all know and love, he insisted on having an elite guard similar to what he had during his glory days of fighting the Huck. Separatist leader Count Dooku got in contact with Hollow-On Mechanicals, which soon presented their impressive new model of combat droids to Grievous. The cyborg would single-handedly train each and every Magnaguard in the art of combating his most hated enemy, the Jedi. As the training progressed, each member of Grievous's guard would develop their own unique fighting style, some becoming more adept in close-quarters combat, while others were more proficient in long-range weaponry. This gave the Kaleesh general a varied group of deadly warriors to both protect him and help him in his crusade of eliminating Jedi scum. And help him they did. One time we see these machines used extremely efficiently was in the capture of Jedi Council member Eeth Koth. After his clone troopers were wiped out by commando droids, Eeth Koth was left to face off against Grievous and 4 of these mechanical monsters. You can see how they let their master duel with this Jedi master, always encircling Koth just in case he somehow gained the upper hand. Which is exactly what happened thanks to the Jedi's pesky ally, the Force. After being pushed into the window of Koth's Venator, Grievous very well may have been struck down by this Jedi if it wasn't for his trusty team of Magnaguards. Having surrounded Koth, one of them prodded the doomed Jedi in the back with an Electro Staff. Though he bravely continued the duel, anytime Master Koth clashed his sabers against those of Grievous, he would receive another painful poke in the back by the Magnaguards. Cowardly? Perhaps, but you can't argue with the results. Count Dooku seemed to agree, because we saw his yellow-eyed Magnaguards employ a very similar tactic against Anakin Skywalker, which left the Chosen One in the clutches of the Count. When Kit Fisto infiltrated Grievous's fortress, the general was able to remotely activate his Magnaguards. They tried locking down the entire castle, and were almost able to defeat the clones and Jedi, even successfully landing a rocket on their new class transport. But with the Force on their side, Fisto was able to escape. The bounty hunter, Cad Bane, was allowed at least one Magnaguard, in order to help with his torture of Jedi Master Bolo Ropal, where he was trying to have him open up the Kyber memory crystal. Other times we see the Magnaguards used are during the kidnapping of Rhoda the Hutt, where they gave a very difficult fight to a young Ahsoka. We also see them on both the Invisible Hand, and on Utapau defending General Grievous from Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was during that mission to save the Senate that we saw how the IG-100 could continue to fight without a head. The only true way to destroy these things was to knock out its backup chest processor as well. Or if you could, do what General Grievous advised.
Crush them! Make them suffer!
Now that we covered their history, let's take a deep look into the unorthodox arsenal of the Magnaguards. Let's start with canon, since we have just one weapon to cover, the infamous Electro Staff. A collab effort by both Hollow-On Mechanicals and Bactoid Armor Workshop, the Electro Staff came in 2 slightly different variations, one having a metallic hilt armed with these 2 transparent ends, and the other having a slightly longer black hilt, with these mechanical devices at the end spewing the purple electricity. Both models were capable of blocking lightsaber strikes, thanks to them being made of frick alloy, one of the few lightsaber-resistant materials in the galaxy, and what Darth Sidious's lightsaber is made out of. And though normally purple, this staff has also been seen with yellow electrical currents buzzing around at the ends. While mainly used as a blunt force weapon to fight off Jedi, the Electro Staff was often employed in torturing prisoners, and it's said that 5 seconds of continuous electrocution from these stabs could very well stop a heart. Moving over to Legends, Magnaguards were armed with a cavalcade of varying weapons. We've seen them deployed into combat with Bulldog rocket launchers, RD-4 grenade launchers, poison gas, and Mark IV recon droids. Those loadouts usually meant leaving the staff behind, but did give the Magnaguards a better chance when fighting enemies at range. These droids also had their own personal fighter craft, the Rogue-class starfighter, which was always seen adorned with the symbol of General Grevious. And these weren't your standard pilot droids either. They were adept enough to shoot down Anakin Skywalker during that mission to save Rhoda the Hutt. And as you might expect, there are many different variants of the Magnaguards themselves, with all kinds of different specialized tech and gadgets. Some had built-in tow cables, magnetized limbs for spacewalks and climbing buildings, and even a personal cloaking device. While another Magnaguard seems to have had telescopic arms. Some could even fire these small seeking missiles from internal magazines that were packed into their back plating. But if all else failed, they had an incredibly powerful self-destruct sequence. The fate of these highly skilled and incredibly deadly droids is similar to many of those that serve the CIS, shut down on Mustafar by Lord Vader. However, a few would pop up decades later under the service of Gracchus the Hutt. Gracchus, just like Grievous, had them as personal bodyguards, and was even able to use them to fend off Luke Skywalker. At least for some time, as they managed to give the upstart Jedi quite a fight. That story's canon, but in Legends, it was also used by Geyser Delzo, a CIS holdout unwilling to bend the knee to Emperor Palpatine, who launched a failed droid rebellion on Mustafar. So that's it for its history and breakdown, but you definitely want to hear these cool facts and behind-the-scenes stuff. Magnaguards were first introduced in Revenge of the Sith, and we were apparently supposed to see a lot more of them. According to stunt coordinator Nick Gillard, Obi-Wan was meant to have an epic 5-man fight against Grievous's guards on Utapau. They even trained for it, but it was George Lucas who decided to change the things to what we saw. Would have been an awesome fight, but Lucas went with the clever homage to Indiana Jones and the Cairo Swordsman. Magnaguards have not spoken in the current canon, aside from that squeal we hear when let out in Revenge of the Sith. But in the video game for that movie, we actually get to hear their very intimidating voices.
Foolish Jedi, prepare to be dismantled.
Finally, the look for the Magnaguards comes from the unused concept art for Grievous himself. He just liked the soulless, crimson gaze of the Magnaguards so much that he made them the elite guard of that new cyborg villain. So that about wraps things up for the IG-100 Magnaguard. If you want to connect with us on social media, find ways that you can help support this channel for free, or check out our Patreon and PayPal, be sure to check out the links in the description. Special shout out to our supporters over on Patreon. But most important of all, remember, never bring a blaster to a lightsaber fight. Bring an electro staff, unless you're Kenobi. And the Force will be with you. Always.